Welcome to a Cincy Fan Talking with LP. And of course, once again, it's your boy LP. Hey, hey, what's going on, y'all? It's supposed to be cheering. That's what's supposed to happen. We should run it back. We need cheers. What are we doing here? There we go. I can't lock in without the cheers. I can't lock in without the cheers. Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know what it is. Hey, welcome back to the pod. Um, Welcome to a new year. Welcome to 2026. Hope everybody's living good, eating steak and shrimp in the whole 9 yards. Hope everybody feeling great, and hoping everybody had themselves a holly jolly year. um, and you know me, I'm just hoping to make 2026 a great one. Hoping to continue podding, chopping it up with y'all, and teaching these goofy kids and raising my goofy kids. Y'all know what it is, and loving life. So, hey, we gonna jump into it. We got a whole lot to talk about for real. You got every team in the AFC North except the Bengals changing up coaches. You kind of saw it with Cleveland. You saw that coming from a mile away. Didn't see it coming with Baltimore and Pittsburgh. And we're going to get into a little bit of, you know, a cool Janet Jackson lyric. You don't know what you got till it's gone. I mean, Joni Mitchell never lied. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about how youth sports is cooked, how the transfer portal is cooked, how so many things are cooked. Cooked. So I'm gonna play a little bit to get off my lawn for a little bit and talk about how it used to be. I don't normally do that, but I'm gonna go ahead and get into that. Talk about how it used to be as opposed to how it is, and it ain't right. Like for real, man, it ain't right. And then we'll end off by talking about a teacher movie classic I did a deep dive on. So we're gonna talk a little bit about Lean on Me and how it's a classic. And the more I teach, the more I don't like this movie. So, hey, let's go ahead and jump into it. Y'all know the vibes. Click the bell, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. New coaches in Pittsburgh. Baltimore looking for a new coach as well. Cleveland looking for a new coach as well. And like I said in the outset, I kind of saw it coming with Cleveland. I mean, you have to be Stevie Wonder not to see it for real. But Baltimore and Pittsburgh, it's one of those things where it's like you get so you get so used to having it good, you feel like you can do better. And I see this a lot. I see this with people, not even talking about sports. I'll see spouses try to better deal themselves right out of a great relationship just because it's not working out a little bit right now. I see people try to better deal cars they got 2 years ago because they see the new one coming off the lot. Like I don't think it's in maybe it's an American thing, I don't know. But I feel like it's more of a people thing. You really get used to what you have and you kind of start to take it for granted. Pittsburgh just let go of a coach that has never had a losing season, and he's been coaching for close to 2 decades. 16, 17 years, never had a losing season. 8-8 was the worst that it got. Now, I understand as a Cincinnati Bengals fan, we had it good with Marvin Lewis for a long time. And it was one of those things where we just couldn't get over the hump. We just couldn't do it. They couldn't win a playoff game. And he had finally brought the Bengals to respectability. And we appreciated that. We were having 11-5 seasons, 12-4 seasons, 10-6 seasons, consistent playoff seasons. Never winning a game in the playoffs. And after a while, the message becomes to be a little bit stale. And at some point, you've done all you can do for an organization. And I get that. Sometimes in life, You reach a point where you've done all you can do, whether it be a relationship, whether it be your job. At some point, you've kind of done all you can do. What I worry about is perhaps sometimes people are a little bit too rash in what they do and what they decide. It's one thing to wait 16, 17, 18 years and kind of go like, you know what? We've had a great run, but it's time to go. No animosity at all. I hope your sports team does well. I hope your car runs great. But I feel like it's time for me to do something different. I remember Jimmy Fallon leaving SNL, and when he left, people asked him why he left, and he was like, you know what? I've been at SNL for 9 years. 9 years is a long time to be anywhere and to do anything. And at some point, you have to kind of look at yourself and go like, do I want to do this for 9 more years? Or should I be like, hey, let me see if I can challenge myself and do something different. And he chose to do something different. I had this same conundrum like in my life. I was at a school for 9 years. And I'm looking around at the landscape of my school, and I had so many teachers around me leave, so many in this school. I mean, I was surprised I could keep them straight. It was a K through 8 school. I saw kids in kindergarten who I watched graduate from my class in the 8th grade and go to high school. It was one of those things where it was awesome. It was great to have that school street cred where I taught your brother and your sister and your brother and your sister. So let's not act like you don't know me. Let's not come into my classroom playing games. Like, your brothers and sisters have told you all about me. Like, chill out. Do what you're supposed to do in the classroom. And it was great to have that respectability where you knew parents. Like, you knew parents. I could say in the classroom, hey, don't let me call so and so. Yeah, first name basis. I got the number right here. You want to talk to her? Oh, no, 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 no. It was great to have that. But after a while, it was like, maybe I need to challenge myself. Maybe I need to go to a school where people really don't know me like that anymore. Maybe I need to go to a school where they pay better. I'm just saying. But it's really all about challenging yourself and keeping yourself in a place where you feel like you're giving your best and things aren't going stale. And I feel like what's happening in Baltimore and Pittsburgh and all these other places is that at some point the messaging goes like, we know exactly what he's going to say. He's not going to switch it up. It's been working for him, so why would he switch it up? But maybe it's time for a change. And most of the time, change is good. Most of the time, it is. But you have so many teams that are looking like, man, I wish we could have that type of stability in our organization. So all I'll say is this: be careful what you wish for. Be prepared. Understand that there are lumps that come with making a change. Change isn't one of those things that go like, man, I changed everything up. Things are gonna be great. Nah, nah, nah. I made my change, got to a new school, and I realized rather quickly these kids don't care that I've been in the game for 10, 11 years. To them, I'm a brand new teacher. Brand new. And they treated me as such for a while. So I let them know, like, look, this ain't my first rodeo here, kids. I know what's about to happen. I know y'all gonna try to treat me like the new fish. I got plans. Like we gonna jump through this little hoop as fast as possible so y'all understand that like I'm a vet. But when you walk into a new place, you're not the vet. And you have to make changes to what you do. When I walked into my new school, I didn't act like, hey, I'm coming from my old school. I got this. I'm like, this is a new school. The kids may be the same, but how you do things will not be the same way I did things. So instead of acting like I knew everything, I shut up. I listened to what people was telling me about the school because there were a lot of people that had a lot of experience at this school. So I did the smart thing. Tell me what I need to know. Well, you've been teaching for a while. I know, but I've been teaching at a school that's not this school. This school is different. These kids are different. Even if they act the same, even if the income level is the same, these are different kids. So I need to know. I need to know the ins and outs. And the people around me appreciated that. They appreciated that I didn't come in like, hey, I'm LP, and nah. And I hope that people extend that same grace to the new coaches that come into these positions. Sure, they may have their own thing, and they're gonna instill that into their spots. But at the same time, and you're asking a lot from fans, you got to show a little bit of patience. Pittsburgh and Baltimore, this don't go for Cleveland. Like it don't. Hey, Cleveland fans, I love y'all. Y'all know if you've been following the pod, my Cleveland roots run deep. I'm from the Natty, but hey, spent many a night in Cleveland. I spent many a summer in Cleveland. So when I say this, it's all love. We ain't really worried about y'all. Like we're not for real. If you want to say we on the same footing, you can. But y'all not worried about us. We not worried about y'all. But the Pittsburgh and Baltimore, don't run these people off on the rails after the first sign of trouble. And like I said, we're talking about fans. They're probably going to do that. I just hope you're not wishing to have Harbaugh and Tomlin right back, because I'm telling you, we'll take Tomlin in a heartbeat. We'll take Harbaugh in a heartbeat. No lies told. Hey, and if y'all struggle, better for us. But it's just one of those things where in life you got to understand change is inevitable. Don't rush the change. Don't try to press the change. You let it happen and you adapt. As humans, we are pretty much adaptable to anything. I mean, I've had kids that came out of some wildly unfavorable conditions and they adapted and they did well. I'm sure you listening out there have had some things happen to you and you thought that you would never make it out. And you here. I have to tell myself that a lot. I mean, we've had things happen to us in the past 5 years that makes us go like, I can't believe we're here. But we are. And you got to give yourself some grace and give yourself a high five for that. I mean, a lot of people cannot make it out of the struggles that you made it out of. And you're here. Commend yourself for that. Don't beat yourself up, all right? You're good. You here, you blessed, and you listening to me. So, I mean, how bad could it really be? You feel me? On another note, get I'm saying this as a former coach, as a person who's ran several youth sports leagues. Calm down about your babies at sports events. I watched a video, a hockey video, where I don't know, it couldn't have been more than 10 or 11. There were like six different fights on the ice at exactly the same time. Nobody's intervening. You can hear the crowd hyping it up. I watched another video where in a basketball game, one boy fouls the mess out of another boy, and another adult gets up and grabs a kid. He shouldn't have touched somebody else's kid. I get that. And then another man comes through and tackles this other parent. Real loud, put the shoulder down, boom, tackled him right on the court while the kids are playing. It's been some wild scenes in youth sports. I always tell people this. Nobody cares more about this than you. It should not be that way. There's no way you should be losing your ever loving mind and your kids looking at you like, what's wrong with moms? What's wrong with pops? In the middle of coaching in a game, I had to get on the crowd because the crowd is mercilessly booing a kid that shot an air ball. And they're like, whoa, whoa. And they're on the other team. And it's like, whoa, get this bum off. I had to remind the crowd. I'm like, look, he in the sixth. I'm yelling this as the teams are playing. I'm like, chill out. He in the sixth grade. And everybody just kind of turned around Like, what are we doing? Oh, goodness. Youth sports is like, and I hate to say this, but it's the truth. Youth sports is like a cesspool for parents living out their dreams to their kids. It's depressing. I used to have parents running up to me close to halftime. Hey, my kid ain't played yet. And I'm looking like, relax, okay? First off, your kid missed every single practice. He's not getting a lot of playing time. He better hope it's a blowout, for one. And for two, I'm coaching. It's me who's up here, not with my family, because I'm trying to help your kid play ball. I'm the one that's missing out on all types of time at home. I'm tired because I had to teach before I started coaching, and we run practice Monday through Friday. We have to do study table and stuff like that. Chill out. You don't even bring juice boxes to the events. What are you doing? You don't bring oranges or nothing. Like, and you're late to pick up your kid every night, which means I gotta wait for you to pick up your kid, and then when I get home, everybody looking at me like, "Hey, Dad, where you been?" So chill out. I literally told a parent this one night because she was just really irking my nerves. Like, I don't need you to say thank you. I'm not the type of person that needs praise on a regular basis. I'm confident enough to know that what I'm doing is enough. What I need from you, parent, is to let me do my thing. Constructive criticism is great. If you're like, hey, I played the game before, coach, and my kid, he's not the fastest, but he's really, really smart. I like stuff like that. This lets me know more about your kid. I can use that. Hey, coach, let me tell you something. Why are you pressing these kids? Get away from me. I'll be nice at first or the second time. Get away from me. That's youth sports. It hasn't changed from 10 years ago. It hasn't changed from 20 years ago. Anybody that comes up to you and goes like, it wasn't like this one. Yes, it was. Parents have been way too pressed about their kid in sports for a very long time. I can tell you to chill out, but the thing is, as you get older, you think it's cool to keep doing this to grown men and women playing ball. And then you look at their Twitter feeds, and it is outrageous the stuff that they say about these. Whew, looky here. Long story short, U Sports is cooked. AAU is an absolute mess, but I'll talk about that in another episode. Just seeing AAU close up, we'll talk about that next week. It's one of those things where I kind of sort of did a deep dive, but I know enough AAU coaches that really care about the game that'll be like the AAU system is broken. Absolutely broken. We'll touch on that next week. But U Sports is cooked. Why is the NCAA transfer portal so cooked? Indiana and Miami are playing Monday night. Yeah, playing Monday night. By the way, it's Indiana's time, y'all. Like it really is. Every now and again, there's a team that you look at and you see what they're doing to other teams, and you see what happens when they play close games, and you just go like, it's their time. This is going to come back to bite them next year and the year after. They'll probably have all types of ridiculous injuries, and you'll have bad turnover luck and stuff like that. But there's always one year where one team just has everything fall into their lap in the most awesome way. It happened for Michigan. It happened for the team up north a couple years ago. They had some of the luckiest things ever happen to them. And I always tell the kids, you can't be lucky without being good. Rarely do you see a lucky individual that doesn't work very hard. The luck just doesn't fall out of the sky. You got to put yourself in a position to be lucky. I mean, you can know all six of the numbers to win the lottery, but if you don't have the money to buy the ticket, Then what? So you got to be a little lucky and a lot good. That was Michigan a couple of years ago. Last year, I'm not gonna lie to you, even though Ohio State lost twice, we had some lucky stuff happen to us, especially in the semifinal against Texas, especially against Notre Dame. We had some stuff. I mean, against Nebraska, uh, there were a lot of instances where the season could have collapsed. Great things happen to great teams. That's what's happening to Indiana this year. They are blessed. I say Indiana 38-17. That's my little like side pocket. As always, don't bet on what I said, don't bet on what I said, don't bet on what I said. Just saying. The Miami quarterback. I don't know if this is true. I looked it up and I keep saying that it is true, but I got to keep researching to see if it's 100% true. Rumor has it that he graduated 2 years ago and he's still playing. How, Sway? If that's true, if it's not true, that doesn't seem plausible to me. That doesn't make sense. It's the NCAA collegiate. Surely you got to be a college student, right? That's why it doesn't make sense. I'm gonna research a little bit more and then add an addendum to this if I need to. There are people in the transfer portal that have transferred 3 times, and this is their fourth time transferring. That's wild. There are people that have been in college for 7 years and they're still playing football. That's insane. And it's cool. It's like the Wild Wild West out here. You have people that go somewhere their freshman year, transfer, get a check, transfer again, get a check, then go back to their original school for their senior year. Meanwhile, the coaches are complaining about this, and the coaches are doing the exact same thing. What's going on with college sports? Like, I tried to watch a Xavier game the other day. Go Muskies. Knew absolutely nobody on the court. Then I tuned to a UC game. Watched them beat Iowa State. Go Cats. All right, you gotta love it. Knew 2 people on the court. Everybody's a transfer. I don't know what I'm gonna do for March Madness, y'all. Like, I guess I can just blindly pick. Um, I could just do the mascot thing. I've seen people actually win just going based on the mascots. So maybe I can do that. I'm cooked. What are we doing in college sports, y'all? Like, what are we really doing? And you don't have to, that's one of those rhetorical questions, y'all. I know the answer. We're chasing the money. The thing is, somebody could come along and easily regulate this like it used to be. Because back in the day, what, 5, 6 years ago, if you wanted to transfer, you could, but you had to sit out a year. So people that wanted to transfer really wanted to transfer. They sat out that year, redshirted, and then they jumped back in the saddle and they played. But now it's you got 3 people trying to be the starting quarterback. One of them wins. The other 2 just leave. They're like, I'm just gonna start somewhere else. That's insane. Now, you have a limited window in which to play, especially when you're talking about football, especially when you're talking about basketball. You have a limited window to show what you can do. So it makes sense that if you can't play, you leave. But come on. The best time to ever watch college basketball for me personally, was when I was growing up in the late 80s through the 90s. Because here's the thing, boys and girls, the teams had so much depth because they waited for the people that were like ahead of them. They would wait for them to graduate. Then they would slide through, they would ball out. Now, the flip side is you didn't really see a whole lot of upsets because most of the talent was stacked up on 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 teams. So it's like a positive negative thing. No, I'm lying. It's a negative thing. Because now what's happening is instead of having those really like when we're talking about March Madness, because that's my thing. I love March Madness, and we'll go into depth of that a little bit later. You already know the deal, but it used to be back in the day, you would have like a small team, like High Point University or Robert Morris or somebody like that. They would have a team full of seniors that knew how to play, that knew exactly how their teammates played, that had a coach that knew what they was doing, and they would go on a run and they would beat some good teams. Now, what happens is that team, they all go to big schools. They'll go to Robert Morris or High Point University for a year, and then they'll transfer. Meaning, people try to pitch it like, hey, now the talent spread out. No, it's not. They're using these group of five schools or these lower major schools as feeder schools. They're using them like farm systems. Oh, that team for Florida Atlantic, they had a really good team. Let's get a point guard. Throw some money at them. What's Florida Atlantic gonna do? Think they got the money to buy somebody else? Nope. I don't know, man. It's just the product isn't as good as what it used to be. But it doesn't really matter because people are just going to consume more of it because it's bad. If that makes sense. It's like something that you really need. No matter how bad it is, you have to get it. So if it's bad, you buy twice as much to make you feel just as good. But it's trash. That's what college basketball is to me right now. Like, I don't know any other players, and I'm a college basketball fanatic. I don't know these players. And then they'll leave and they'll all go to different schools. So they'll go to teams I don't know. It is frustrating to watch. And then uh, so I have to work out a scenario to figure this out. I got to figure out how to figure out who these teams are. I don't know. Do I just hop online and nah? Because by the time I dig through all of that, and then I'll look up the team, see who's good, see who's trash. Come April, they all switch teams again. Xavier had 10 different transfers this year. And I'm probably lowballing that. We need some fixes, y'all. My fix, you get one transfer for free. After that, if you want to transfer again, you got to sit out a year. That would be my fix. That's what I would do. And honestly, I would make the coaches do the same thing. If you have a 3-year contract, you cannot leave until your contract is up. Contract should mean something. I can't leave my job just because I feel like it. Like at my school, I'm teaching. Say another school says, "Hey, LP, we'll pay you 300,000." I can't just break my contract. I mean, I guess I could, but there are rules against that. They mess with your license because of that. So you have to finish out your contract. If you have a 2-year contract, you got to play those 2 years out. Then you move on. Contracts don't mean anything in college sports. I guess they don't mean anything in pro sports either, huh? I don't know. Hey, let me know what y'all think. What would be the one thing you would do to fix all of these players and coaches just leaving when they feel like? Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you would do. I'm interested in knowing what you would do to fix this situation. Alrighty then. So I'm still telling people to get off my lawn, and I got to keep doing it with this because now I got to jump into our movie segment, our teacher movie segment. For my people that's just catching up, what I do is instead of me doing my 5 or 10 minute breakdown of a movie, I actually did a deep dive into the movie. Um, I figured out the plot summaries. I asked myself questions about it to look through. I was looking at the movie. I rated the movie based on how it moved teachers as well as the audience. I even did some digging on the actual behind the scenes story. And I try to break this down in about 15, 20 minutes. It all depends on how good it got to me. And let me tell you, Lean on Me is always one of those movies that I have out of all of the teacher movies that I watch and review, this is the one that triggers me the most because it's the one that gives me the highest highs and the lowest lows. Because it's that movie where I've seen this in more than a few schools, and I've seen it go awesome, and I've seen it go terrible. So let's jump into it. So we talking about Lean on Me. This came out in 1989. Well, I always think 1989 is a number, another summer. Oh, okay, I can't. All right, I gotta focus. I gotta not let Public Enemy jump into my head. So this movie showed us what you could do when a crazy man with a crazy baseball bat decides to save an entire school. So to set this up, if you don't remember the story or if you haven't seen it in a long time, the movie tells the real life story of Joe Clark, and he's played by Morgan Freeman, who is absolutely the GOAT. So he plays an unconventional and way too intense strict principal. He's sent back to his old stomping grounds at East Side High, which is in Patterson, New Jersey. But it's not like it used to be. There was a flashback about 15, 20 years before where the school looked completely different. They had a completely different student base and it was actually clean and there was no graffiti on the walls and they were actually learning. It was awesome. Slow fade into 1987. The movie came out in 1989. They're talking about events in 1987. And it's wild. Welcome to the Jungle is playing, so you know crazy stuff is about to happen. They're showing teachers getting their heads just bashed on the ground. You got students getting locked into lockers. You got drug deals just happening right on the grounds, like they selling coffee beans. It was real. It was bad. And now the Board of Education wants to take it over because the students are failing so badly and they can't retain good teachers. So in comes Morgan Freeman as Joe Clark, and he instantly starts to shape up the school. The teachers aren't with it at first. He's yelling at the teachers, trying to get them in a tip top shape. He's embarrassing some teachers. One crazy scene sticks out of my mind. So Mr. Brown, who's played by Eric LaSalle of ER fame, he's standing there listening to Mr. Clark make some kids sing the East Side High School song. He bends down to pick up some trash, right? And Mr. Clark just goes off. Nobody's supposed to move during the singing of the school song. Report to my office. This is in front of the entire lunchroom. As a grown man, being talked to like a kid by another grown man is absolutely wild. And especially you on duty, like you teaching. So you got to show some decorum at the same time. I mean, who you think you talking to? Which is what his face said. Time goes on. The second absolutely iconic scene, in which we'll find out later the origin of the scene. Joe Clark comes up with a megaphone and he's like, "Look." Well, no, he had his microphone and he called all of the really, really bad kids, the truant kids, the kids that got all the referrals or whatever and the suspensions, called them all up to the auditorium stage and basically let the whole crowd know, yeah, they leaving. We kicking them all out. And then booted them all out. Bye bye. See ya. That had me conflicted as a teacher slash parent. As a teacher, I'm like, you just made my job a lot easier. Appreciate that. You kicked out a whole lot of kids that really don't care about education and quite frankly made it difficult to educate. I'm trying to teach and you got kids in the back shooting dice and whatnot. We can't do that. Kicking them out. Not a bad idea. On the flip side, I'm sending my kid there and I'm like, I know my kid bad as hell. I'm trying my best and I will hope that you will try your best as well with my kid. Don't just put my kid out. Where did my kid just go? Is my kid still at school? Did you call me to tell me? There's a lot going on here. Um, After a while, teachers slowly kind of bend around to what Joe Clark is talking about. He actually mellows down a little bit because some teachers got up in his stuff and was like, look, you can't talk to people like absolute trash and expect results, sir. It doesn't work like that. If you don't respect me, you're not going to get what you want. And people had to come at him directly and tell him that in order for him to finally understand you can't do that. And this is all a build up for the basic skills test. If 75% of the students don't pass the test, then the state takes control. So basically, the whole movie is a race against time, it's against poverty, and it's against a group of parents that want Joe Clark gone. Because in the background is a setup between the fire chief and the district chiefs and the PTA board parent lady who want Joe Clark gone. So it's all a race against this. And Joe Clark ends up getting the kid, Joe Clark, along with the help of all the teachers and the students, ends up getting above 75% on the basic skills test. And the school gets to stay in local control. All's well that ends well. This is one of those stories that it resonates with me because it's about accountability, it's about tough love, it's about community. And it really asks that tough question I'm going to dig into. Do the ends justify the means? We see this a lot with sports. We see this a lot with anything where things have to be broken down to its bare bones. Joe Clark came in and was talking absolutely ridiculous to these teachers. I mean, there was a scene where he made like 66% of the teachers in a meeting hold their hands up and keep them up, and he's like, this is how your students feel. They feel helpless. They feel like they can't do anything. And then told them they had to start coming in on Saturday to start giving them more tutoring and stuff like that. And before I became a teacher, I'm looking like, yeah, man, he really cares. When I became a teacher, started watching this movie through different lenses, I'm like, did you just tell me I'm coming in on a Saturday for free? Seriously? That's what we doing. And you kind of respect people like that because they're willing to put in just as much work as you are. But on the other hand, when you ask people to do things that are way above their pay grade and they have to be what they are to their school kids, to their kids at home, it's a really difficult ask. As I found out digging through my research on this, Joe Clark himself said that this movie is 95% on point. Now, flip side to when I was talking about Dangerous Minds, and we saw that the real Luann, the real Luann Johnson was like, I'm not even coming to the premiere because it's just so off base. This movie is about 95% true. That's absolutely wild to me. That scene where he kicked out about 300 kids on the stage, he said that was accurate. It's crazy to me, but I really like that we saw pretty much what it was and we got to choose for ourselves how we felt about it. Um, Joe Clark's methods were so famous that President Ronald Reagan actually offered him a job as a White House policy advisor, but he turned it down because he was like, I don't want to leave my students. That's super cool. That's dope right there. My thing is this, and I'm just being honest. He chained the school doors to keep the drug dealers out. That's a huge, massive fire code violation. And that's what got him locked up. He was making teachers come in on Saturdays. He came in and he immediately fired the football coach and made him the assistant coach. And then made the assistant coach the head coach. He was talking sideways. He fired a music teacher when the music teacher wouldn't stop preparing her class for a trip to New York to sing, and she wouldn't start teaching like the school song. Fired her on the spot in front of the kids, y'all. And all of this worked. It ended up working. He got the results. My one question I want y'all to think about: do the ends justify the means in a situation like this? I have two answers. I have my before I started teaching answer, and I have my after I started teaching answer. Before, I'm like, yeah, you did what you had to do. You locked those school doors simply because you couldn't keep the drug dealers out, and you're not getting help from anybody else, so you did what you had to do. You have to cut the violence down in your school. You have to get the drugs out. You have to get people that want to learn in. So yeah, you do what you got to do. Teacher me looks at this a little bit differently, y'all, because you locking the doors, understandable, especially in the climate that we have right now where you got school shooters running through. I mean, all the doors are locked nowadays. Like for real. You try to get in somewhere, all the doors are locked. So fire, code, whatever. But to talk to the teachers in the way that he was talking to them, like, I mean, he was getting physically threatened by some teachers. Like, Mr. Brown had to like throw Joe Clark's desk and let him know, like, man, you gonna give me the respect you deserve, or I'm gonna knock you out. He told him that. That's how far he had to go to get through to him and let him know, like, hey, this might not be working the way you want it to. That's that. I've worked with I've worked with principals who literally locked the door to the meeting and you couldn't get in if you were 2 seconds late. For real, true story. I've worked with principals who, when you get to the meeting, they pass around like a sign up sheet, and anybody that doesn't sign the sign up sheet, gets a written warning in their mailbox. I've worked with teachers like with principals like this. Some of those principals got results. Some of them got a whole lot of backlash, and they couldn't really do what they needed to do because they didn't have the teacher support. So I would say, if you're gonna do something like this, understand that number one, he did this in 1987. You cannot talk to people now like you talked to them in 1987. So make sure you have that clear. This 2026, you can't come at teachers like that. You could find yourself up a creek. And if this is going to be your style, just be honest about it. Don't surprise people. Don't just be like, yeah, I'm coming in like a whirlwind. Let's have a meeting and you let us know your style, the success that it has gotten you, and why you feel like you need to come at us like that. And don't talk to me like that in front of the kids. No, because when you do that, especially in like an urban setting, you're making that teacher look weak. And if you have a weak teacher in front of a class, they're looking like, I'm concerned about the person above you. I'm not worried about you. And that's going to mess with the classroom management. That's going to mess with a lot of different things. So you got to watch how you do stuff like that. Morgan Freeman's performance was amazing. Morgan Freeman's performance, I would say this was his third best performance. Shawshank Redemption is always going to be the best performance to me. And second performance, I feel like a lot of people sleep on it. Bruce Almighty. He wasn't in it a lot. By the way, he played God in Bruce Almighty, so Let that sink in. Awesome. His lines and the way he delivered those, they were so deep, but the way he dropped it made you kind of think. Like him playing opposite of Jim Carrey was something that's amazing. That's like one of my favorite movies. And it's not a teacher movie, it's just one of those movies where you just look at it and you watch it and you realize there are like so many gems and messages hidden in there. Like it's an absolutely amazing movie. And Morgan Freeman's performance in it, so underrated. His performance in Lean on Me, spectacular. I feel like this is one of those movies where if you have a different cast, and I'm gonna just say it like that, it would be Oscar worthy. All in all. Um, Overall, if I'm rating this, in terms of entertainment value, this is a 9.5. Entertainment wise, this is amazing. All the actors and actresses are on point, and you really get that 1987 vibe. Like, it's one of those where it's set in a time period, but the message is always on point. As far as how close it is to realism, that's a 9 right there. I mean, I would say 10 for real. I've literally seen people act like this, and I've seen the reactions that they have, the reactions that they got from acting like that. So overall, it's a must watch. It's a must watch. We're talking about in the teacher movie genre. This is like one of the top three that you have to see. Like absolutely, if you don't watch Lean on Me and you're thinking about being a teacher, or you want to know about like how teachers and admin do it and what they have to do and go through, you missing the boat. As far as me liking it, like my overall take on it, nah, I can't lie. This is an awesome movie. The more I watch it, the more angry I get. Like, who do you think he talking to? Like, but that aside, it's a great movie. It really is. So if you haven't seen it, even if you haven't seen it in a while, go ahead and check it out. Give a teacher a high five because teachers go through a lot. Admin goes through a whole lot. I thought about admin for a while, and then I subbed for my vice principal when he went on a field trip with the other kids. So I was in his place for a week. I think I ate lunch on time one time that week. The other four times, I think I ate once in the car after school. So that was like about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Twice, I had to eat standing up while supervising another class. And then there was one time where I literally had to eat in the car while I was driving, and I was trying to get to a parent's house because she wasn't answering her phone, and I had to suspend the kid for something that she did. She wasn't answering the phone. I had to go over there and let her know, like, you're not answering the phone. Your kid is at school. It was a mess. After that week, I was like, yep, I'm good right here. I'll be teaching for a while. I'm not built for that life. It was too much. So I dap up admin because they do all the stuff. If you have a good administrator or a good boss in anything, they do all the stuff and they take all the arrows and bullets for you so you can do what you need to do. I mean, that's the sound of a really good coach. That's the sound of a really good parent. Like they're able to deflect all the stuff to let you do what you need to do. So that's dope if you have somebody like that in your life. If you don't, get them. Hey man, thank y'all for hanging out, man. We definitely gotta do this again. We got some cool topics planned. We got some cool people coming through to talk to your boy. So it's all good. We're gonna go ahead and ride out. If you enjoyed it, make sure you come through. Come check us out again, cause it's all love over here and life is good.